Good evening, Otherworldlies. This is Queen Juliana, your Dark Mask Diva. I was talking to a friend after he watched my yapping video, and he said, you know what? There's this part where you were talking about people being cheated on, and he said, that's actually kind of a red flag. And I said, yeah, I never thought about that. And he said, you should talk about that a little bit more. And I'm thinking, yeah. And we were talking about it's a red flag when you're talking to people and they talk about how they've been cheated on, how they've been mistreated, and they're always the victim in their relationships. That's what he was referring to. Hello, Otherworldlies. This is Queen Juliana, your Dark Mask Diva. And so this content is going to be about specifically that. And we're talking about professional victims tonight. So I'm not saying if you got cheated on, it was necessarily your fault. Okay? So I'm not victim blaming here. I'm not picking on you if you got cheated on. I'm really sorry that happened to you. All right? So people who get cheated on, this is the deal with getting cheated on. Okay? That person chose to cheat. That's the other person's fault if they decided to cheat on you. That was their decision. All right. People cheat because they get the opportunity, because they're insecure, because there's something missing inside them, and they decide that they're going to find fulfillment in the cheating. All right. That it really has little to nothing to do with you, and quite frankly, it's just because they think they're going to get away with it. Okay. They see an opportunity. They don't think they're going to get another opportunity, so they just take it. All right. People have different reasons for doing it, and it doesn't have anything to do with you. And quite frankly, a lot of the reasons people do it is because you're too good for them in the first place. So I could say a whole lot about the other person who's cheating, but here's the deal with cheating. If somebody cheats on you, you don't need to be with them. All right. Period, point blank. If they're cheating on you, they're going to do it again. Okay? Because here's the thing. If you forgive a cheater, in the back of their mind, once you've forgiven them, they've gotten away with it once. Okay? So in the back of their mind, they realize that they've gotten away with it once. Whether they're sorry or not, whether they apologize to you, whether they make it up to you, whatever, in the back of their mind, they've already gotten away with it. So they've already been forgiven for it, so they know they can do it again. So what they're going to do is they're just going to find a way to be more stealthy with it next time. All right? They already think it's okay because they've done it once and you've taken them back. So the odds of them doing it again are pretty good. All right? It's very, very rarely does it work out when you take a cheater back. All right? It's the odds are not good. The relationship's going to work out. So when somebody cheats on you, you really shouldn't take them back. So when I tell you this, please don't take it wrong. When you take a cheater back and they cheat on you again, okay, it's like fool me once, fool me twice. Okay, it was their fault the first time, but it's your fault the second time. Okay. They're going to do it again if you already let them get away with it once. Okay, so you don't need to take them back a second time. They're just going to do it again because you let them get away with it the first time. All right, that's and I didn't make the rules. This isn't my law. This isn't, I don't think it's okay. There's nothing cool about this. It's just psychology. Okay, it's just something that goes on in the subconscious, and that's just the way the mind works. Okay, so there's no part of me that thinks this is okay or acceptable. This is just me giving you the information, so please don't shoot the messenger. So when you meet these people, when you see things on dating profiles, when you meet people and you're out on a date and or you're getting into a relationship with someone, they're opening up to you and they say they've been cheated on multiple times. All right. These are people who attract cheaters. All right. These are people who put up with cheaters. Okay. So here are people who have low self-esteem. Okay. And these are people who are basically going to find some reason to complain about you once you've had enough of their low self-esteem. Okay, and you break it off with them. All right, so the next person that they move on to, that they get their hooks into or whatever, they're gonna complain, and they're gonna talk about you, how abusive you were to them, or whatever, how you cheated, and it could be because you glanced at someone else for too long, okay, or something that you don't even consider cheating, but they do. All right, because here's the thing, not everybody considers the same things cheating. Okay, maybe you have a friend of the opposite sex or something like that. One person considers that cheating, another person doesn't. Okay, it really just depends. They could, you may have been too friendly to somebody of the opposite sex or the same sex if you're gay. It's really, like a gray line there. They could be misinterpreting something. All right, they could be saying something. They could be misinterpreting you. They could be misrepresenting you to somebody else. All right, once they break up with you, they become so paranoid. I have dated people that were paranoid that I was cheating on them when I was not. Now, I know what you're thinking. They were cheating on me. Well, if they were that paranoid that I was cheating on them, well, the chances were they were cheating on me. If they were that paranoid I was cheating on them. Now, I don't have any proof of that, but if they were that paranoid I was cheating on them, or they just had some kind of mental problem, whatever it was, they had that victim mentality. So I was dating somebody with a victim mentality, and that's why I'm making this content tonight, because I want to warn everybody out there that there are those people out there that will make a villain out of you, even if you're not doing anything wrong. They think you're too friendly with other people. But the heart of the matter is that they are insecure. All right, and they like to make the other person in their life, they like to make their partner, they like to make everybody at work, they like to make everybody they know, they like to make everybody else the villain so they can be the victim. Okay, so it doesn't matter if it's their family, or it doesn't matter if it's their neighbor, it doesn't matter if it's you, it doesn't matter who it is. The other person is always a bad guy. Like, there always has to be a bad guy, and if no one else is close to them, it's going to be you. All right, they always have to be talking smack about somebody, and it's going to be you. Okay, it's going to be other people too, but it's going to be you. And eventually, when it boils down to it, the relationship is going to dissolve, because they're going to be having all these paranoid thoughts, and they're going to be yapping about you and having paranoid thoughts about you, and they're going to be talking about how you do this, you do that, you're such a bad person, and because they need to be the victim. Okay, they need to draw sympathy from people about how they're so wrong done by. And so when you date somebody and they talk about how they've been mistreated by somebody, okay, it could be they have been mistreated by somebody. It could be they're a genuinely nice person who's been mistreated by somebody, but that is a red flag. And I'm saying it's a red flag because I've dated people that say they were mistreated, and I mistook them for being a nice person. No, after I got involved with them, they were professional victims. So you want to date people who who say neutral things like, you know what, we parted as friends. It really just didn't work out. We parted on good terms, and they just say neutral things like that, like no bad feelings. It's, and they're not carrying baggage. They don't have a lot of emotionally charged feelings. They're not carrying a lot of hurt. Because I'm going to let you know, at least for men, if a man has a relationship and he has a lot of hurt feelings about his ex, if the woman left him, I'm letting you know right now, he's not over her. It doesn't matter if she's ugly. It doesn't matter if she's chopped. It doesn't matter if he's a lot better looking than her and he was too good for her in the first place. He's not over her. And I know what you're sitting there thinking, wow, you're conceited saying all these mean things about ugly women and stuff. No, I'm not. I'm just saying if she left him, he's not over her. It's because of loss and scarcity. It's just psychology, okay? That's all it is. And I know this because I've been through it. I've been through it watching these guys get their feelings hurt over these women that they shouldn't have been getting their feelings hurt over. And it's these women they allegedly didn't even want to be with in the first place. Okay, so and these guys, they wanted to be victims. Okay, they wanted to feel bad. They wanted everybody to feel bad for them. And all these bad things would happen. They just had the worst karma. I wonder why. And you wouldn't believe how many bad things were always happening to these guys. And you're like, wow, these guys really have bad karma. And everybody is so mean to these guys. Like, I wonder why. Well, because they always had to be victims. And then you find out that they have addictions, and they wallow in self-pity, and they just have bad personal habits, and they downward spiral, and they just feel sorry for themselves all the time. Okay, well, nobody in their right mind is going to put up with that. Okay, so you meet these people who talk about how mistreated they've been. You need to run the other way. It's a red flag. All right. Some people are just professional victims, and they're always going to need things from you. They're always going to try to make you feel sorry for them. Okay. It's just a red flag. It's at first it's going to tug on your heartstrings. That first it got me. I'm like, oh, that is so sad. If you're any kind of empath, you're going to feel bad for them. Like, that was so unfair. This person seems so nice. They seem so cool. They seem so nice, and that was so unfair what that mean person did to them. But then you're with them for a while, and you start realizing that, oh, okay, now I see what's going on. This person just loves to play the victim. And you see that there's more to the story. You're only hearing one side of the story. And oftentimes these people, they have addictions, and they have bad habits, and they don't have a work ethic, and they have all kinds of just feel sorry for me behaviors, and they're needy, and they're whiny, and they're babies, and they're just trying to make you feel sorry for them, and that's how they get you. And if you have any kindness in your heart, that's how they latch onto you. And so you need to start screening these people. You need to vet these people, and you need to not date anyone because they've been hurt. Anybody who's been hurt, forget about it. Don't date anybody who's been hurt. You don't want that. It's not your job to heal anybody. It's not your job to date anybody who's been hurt. You don't want that. You want to be with somebody who's not been hurt. And I know you're like, but everybody's been hurt. No, you don't want to tell anybody you've been hurt, and you don't want to date anybody who's been hurt. the smart thing is to not talk about your past wounds, and to not talk to anybody who's telling you about all the ways they've been wronged. It's a real red flag. You don't want that. This person is just they're trying to get you to fix everything, and at the end of the day, they just don't want to be fixed. So it's a real red flag. You don't want that. And I'm glad my friend brought that to my attention so I could tell you guys about that. And I have had experience with these kinds of people before, and you don't want it. So I hope I got that point across and that it made sense. And I love you all, and have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.